because Bill plays such a pivotal role in this film, we wanted to honor him and his character in the same way we did with Lauren. So here is Bill's poster.
Hooray! Looking good. And working with Lauren was just unbelievably cool. So
Absolutely.
you know, and
just,
I see,
it's
you know,
great.
just watching this for the first time, like most of you, I guess. You know how everybody is. You know, we're into it. You know, and that's the beauty of the genre. Is no matter how crazy the story seems, you know, if you're into it, if it's your reality, you know, then people can relate to it. I know you said you were trying to control the darkness. For me, early on, the movie that really freaked me out was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I ended up having to see it. I saw it in like '75, and you know, I kept having to see it just to try. It freaked me out so much that I kept trying to see it, and I had to. That was before VHS, so I had to see it in theaters, and you know, I kept trying to see it so that it would become common, and so that I could kind of dismiss it. And it didn't work. It just made it worse. Until finally I got the job as Chop Top on Chainsaw 2. And I remember showing up at the Brook Hollow Motor Inn in Austin, Texas. And I was there, like, you know, about to play Chop Top, just wondering, still with a lot of worried about the darkness, you know, trying to fight or control the darkness. And then all of a sudden this car pulls up, and out gets Jim Sedow, who plays the cook in the original Chainsaw and in Chainsaw 2. And I looked at him, I went, "It's the cook!" And he goes, "Hey boy, how you doing?" And I realized in that moment that instead of like having to compete or control the darkness, it's a lot easier if you just join it.
I like that.
I don't know where that came from.
No, that's
anyway.
good. Dropping some knowledge on that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, just join it, man. It's a lot easier.
I think you might be right. So it's kind of going to your legendary career here, and I have to use legendary because it just is. It just is. I mean, the fact that you were able to experience Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then get to be in the sequel, I mean, that's phenomenal. How do you feel that horror has changed from the late 70s, 80s until now, or do you think that we're just as still messed up as we were then?
It's just as messed up. Yeah, I mean, there's some great stuff that keeps coming. The big difference, of course, is going from practical effects to CGI. That's basically it. Other than that, it really does come down to story, story, story. And that's why I like the Fetus so much. It was a great story, you know, and it's got trappings of horror, but at the core of it, it's a family drama, really, when it comes right down to it. However fucked up it is, but it is a family drama. So that's where, you know, you identify, and if you can't identify, then you know, then it just ends up being, you know, it doesn't go that deep. But if you can identify with you know, the core feelings and the core relationships, then you know, you're free to do anything.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I really feel that a lot of times as a fan base, we get kind of dialed, not just phoned in movies that the directors and producers just throw out just to get some scares out of us, but to have an actual story that feels good to the audience, and that at the end of it, it is a drama when it comes down to it. What about the Fetus? Or I should say, what scene do you feel like is gonna stick with people?
Well, you know, that Amazing Grace solo, I got to say that was
the chops. I love it.
That's kind of Corn Bugs, Spider Mountain, you know, and then, you know, Maddox singing Amazing Grace. You know, I think all of them. I mean, it was a lot of fun to fight and wrestle with Curtis. You know, just the whole shoot was a lot of fun. We did it in Pennsylvania, outside of Scranton, which is you know, very beautiful. There were lots of deer on the road. Remember, there was you know, plenty of deer, and so the setting was very, you know, it was anything but horrific. When it came time to go to work, we certainly did. It was fun it's fun to to play blind, not to be blind, but playing blind was cool. And again, just working with, two pros like, again, Lauren and Curtis, and working with Joe, and just Joe and the team, just, figuring out how to do this, how to make this movie really one day at a time. We just had to kind of, when you actually start making a movie, the script is nice, but the script is a blueprint. And, really what it comes down to is, boots on the ground. I mean, the actors, the wardrobe, the makeup, the production, the camera, the directing. I mean, it all just, we all have to do our job, and we all have to do it in a happy sync. And I think we did. I'd say we did. And I think it was great because Joe and Carrie, beautiful Carrie, even made me some lamb chops, because my manager told them that I like lamb chops. So again, thank you for that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to give a shout out to Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie's over here in the corner. She is our executive producer on the project.
Carrie, thank you.
So thank you. We wouldn't be here without you, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask you one other question before I moved over to Joe.
Okay.
Now, if you could bring one other iconic character into the Fetus verse, maybe I'm gonna leave that up there. Let's say like Otis Driftwood or someone like that. What advice would you give them to survive this demonic fetus, or even the demon that lurks within the portal?
Well, one of the merchandise items that I have gotten ahead of time from the fetus is condoms. And the one thing that's really important is a strong fucking condom. So that would be my advice.
You heard it here, folks. Get your condoms. Get your condoms.
I don't. Did you bring some? They're all that's to Joe.
Yeah, well,
Are
actually,
there some in the lobby?
besides the first 10 who are getting the posters, every single one of you is getting a box of the Fetus condoms.
All right, that's fantastic.
Wrap it up, folks. Wrap it up. Well, Joe, I want to switch over to you for a bit and ask you. Well, first off, again, I'm just going to congratulate you on your directorial debut.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What was the craziest moment on set that you stood back and said, I think I may have went too far?
Honestly, it has to be Lauren LaVera, her back against the wall, and she's just screaming, giving birth. Because at that moment, I was like, we've got something special here. And when I do have to mention Bill Moseley singing, that is actually my favorite scene out of the entire movie. And still, to this day, it is, which is strange. There's just something eerie about Bill singing that song, Amazing Grace, that just gets to me.
Very good. So horror comedy is really tricky. And it can either go lean one way and be too funny, and lean another way and just be not funny at all. What was the process that you took in crafting the script?
Well, first was to really tell a story that was entertaining and also emotional, and also just challenged, people's stance on where they were at, in a very tough subject matter. And so I just wanted to wrap all that into there and do it in a way where you could enjoy it as well and not take it so seriously, because again, it is a tough subject matter, but I want people to come together to be able to enjoy this and experience it, regardless of whatever your background is.
Very good. Now, this is not every director gets a directorial debut that gets a horror icon like Bill, and then someone who just got ingratiated into the royal family like Lauren LaVera. So what was it like having, and Lauren was on the project before Terrifier 2 came out, but what was it like on set with these two?
Yeah, we lucked out 2 times. The first one was Bill was the very first person cast. Literally my top 3 choice. And once he read the script, signed on, I mean, I thought, oh my God, wow, this is amazing because he has so much history and such a fan base. So many people love him and his work that it would attract other talent to the project. And as a result, Lauren was the second person to come on board, and we went through 7,500 auditions.
7,500 auditions to find Lauren LaVera.
And Julian, then it was about 3,500. But when Lauren came on, it was just, I knew it. I felt it, Brent felt it, and it was absolutely the right fit. And this was, like Brent said, before Terrifier 2 came out. So we lucked out 2 times.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm going to open it up to both of you for one question here, and then take a couple questions from the audience before we start wrapping up. The horror genre, it has always been a place where you can kind of stretch the boundaries of storytelling. What made this story kind of fertile ground for telling the story?
Oh, I just really wanted to explore what it was like if the thing that usually happens in a horror film, which is, the good side versus evil, what if you were to merge them together and the thing that's growing inside of you has the chance to be good? Even though it's doing things that are evil along the way, that's, how tough a decision is that? And I wanted the audience to say, what would I do if I were in that position?
Bill, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. I mean, it's a, as you mentioned, it is fertile ground. I thought you were slipping a little pun in there. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I do know that, let's see, today is January 17th, I believe. In mid-March, I'm going to be a grandfather for the first time.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. So, I don't know, maybe I'll, get a chance to, visit those feelings. I don't think so. I don't have, although, I'm married, but, she's from this earth, so that's good.
So
every once in a while, there is a hole in the floor, I got to say. But no, I just have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun working. I love acting. I love this genre. It is actually, as you mentioned, I think the horror genre is one of the, it's often kind of poo-pooed, like, the horror, it's not, obviously most of the time it's not a big Oscar territory, but I love the horror genre because you can tell so many stories. You can tell political stories, you can tell social stories. It's really amazing. I mean, I think, again, I think back to the original Night of the Living Dead, just how many political layers there were, how many racial layers there were. There was so much going on in a horrific setting. And I think that with the horror genre, you can do that. You have license to do that. I notice in the back, I see a few Terrifier folks back there. All right, guys, thank you for showing up. And I love that movie. I love the Terrifier. The fact is that, it ends up, you can tell a lot of stories, with Art the Clown, with Maddox, with, the Fetus. There are just so many things you can do that are entertaining, that are frightening, but that, they also are, that make you think about things. And, as I say, I just hope that, when my granddaughter is born in mid-March, that she is, of this earth. I've been told I'm going to be wrapped around her little finger, but so I hope she's not too demonic. So
here's hoping. Yeah. Well, I have one other question. We were able to shoot this film. I think it was 24 days total, right, Joe? Somewhere around there with the extended shoot. So we had to
21.
21 long days. how do you like to unwind after a really long day on set? Bill, since you have the mic, you can go first.
Okay, I like to go back to the motel or to the hotel room and watch Forensic Files.
Bravo!
Way to ease into sleep. Well, for me, it's literally planning, visualizing for the next day. There's a train running. We got to make sure the rails stay where they are, and we can keep moving forward. And there's not much rest until we get to the end of the tracks.
All right,
Well,
very
there
good.
you go.
Well, I want to open it up to any questions from the audience. If anyone has questions, we're ready to rock and roll.
The music sounded a lot like X-Files to me. I really had that
X-Files.
nostalgic strings, teenager watching stuff in the 90s, had that sort of that vibe about it. I really enjoyed it.
Well, you know what?
That's Brent. That's Brent's department. So
All right, Brent, good job, man.
Yeah, actually, so I did. I'll just say this, but yeah, I did the music. I actually didn't compose it, but I did compile that as well as the sound effects in the film as well. But again, I'm going to defer to Joe because Joe can veto anything at any time. So, so it's Joe that gets to say what is good and what isn't. And that was something that we talked about, is we wanted this to be kind of a homage to the late 80s and the 90s, those type of horror films, which is why you have the poster the way it is. So I will definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Good question.
Yep.
Were there any particular film influences that you took into consideration during the production of Fetus?
Oh, good question. That's film influences. I literally watched before or during the writing of this, I was just watching like horror movies like almost every day, just to kind of refresh and figure out like where do I want to land, what do I want to bring to the horror genre. And the best influences to me are, what I love, The Fly, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, those kind of movies where, again, it's a transformation going on within the human body as opposed to the separation where one entity is chasing after humans. And so again, it's that merging together that I find fascinating.
Very good. And to add to that, I know that we had conversations about It's Alive and old school, that's old school, and also some hints of Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. So, and The Thing, I know that was something.
Yeah,
that,
and Beyond the Door.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Right.
Good stuff. Yep.
Obviously, at the end, you have the door open. Is there specific plans for more?
But it's always open, but depends on, if the cast wants to come back and, Bill, if you got more in you, then, you got.
Another question? Good deal. Well, I will say this. Again, really, really, really happy to have the opportunity to be a part of this with you both. Happy that we were able to have this screening out here at Days of the Dead. I hope everybody has a great convention this weekend, and please be sure for we're going to get you guys your swag. We're going to get you your condoms so you can have a fun, safe time in Vegas this weekend.
That's right.
I know our folks from across the pond, right? We appreciate you for coming out.
All
and
right,
also the first 10 folks that signed up are going to get an exclusive poster of actually this beautiful young man right here, Bill Moseley. So be sure to stop by Bill Moseley's booth as well at Days of the Dead. And again, thank you. We appreciate you for coming out. Joe, do you want to say anything to close us
Yeah,
out?
I'll just say, for signatures, I think, Bill, it's best for them to bring the poster to go to your booth, right?
Yeah.
So he's got a table, he's got it all set up at Days of the Dead.
Yeah, that's fine.
And actually, let me just
yeah.
say, and I just wanted to say one more thing, and that was my real beard. I shaved since, but that was my real beard.
Looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Moseley, Joe Lamb.